the entire countdown trying to work out how to type something, a big message on my phone, and I got hello in 2.5 minutes. Technology, it makes your life simpler and more productive. Have you not noticed?
Hello, Mel and Margaret. Hello, June. I saw you were here earlier on my phone. Hello, Beth and maybe Laurie. Hello, Kalia. Hello, Jane and the Covington family. Hello, Iris. Good to see you all. Yes, the music is very bouncy. Yes. Yes, it makes me want to bop him on the head. No, bouncy.
We're about to church.
Oh, dear.
Hey, Jane. Lovely to see you.
Hello, Debbie and Ian. Good evening. Good evening, all. One and all. So, who has... Oh, what's that? Now what's happening?
The technology is helping.
Oh, dear. So, sorry, Mark's phone just started talking to us. So, who has anything to share? Has anything happened today? Anything small that you've noticed God in? Is there anything, any small stuff you've noticed God in? Any unusual stuff? Any things that maybe made you laugh that you think God has caused you to notice? Does anyone have anything they'd like to share on that front before we get into the Bible? What?
Nothing. I don't know what you're going to say.
No, I know you don't.
It's scary.
So, does anyone have anything? Do you have any? Were there any God moments for you today? Any small moments? Any stuff you could have missed if you weren't looking for it? Or you did miss, but now I've asked you the question. You've noticed it. Anything happened today that God either made you smile or... Oh, there you go. So, Kalia hasn't been as snappy. Is that your hormones, Kalia? Or is that just Kalia? We love you, Kalia. Yeah, she's... how far along are you now, Kay? She's quite pregnant, I think. Vicky saw her a few weeks ago. And you have a bump, right? We need to see photos of the bump, Kay. We need to see bump pictures. There's a real baby in there. That's kind of awesome. It's both hormones and Kalia. Well, I'm glad you've been less snappy today. I'm glad that God's helped you keep the snappy under control. And 23 weeks. Wow, that's so awesome. Wow. Big baby.
That's almost like the length of lockdown.
I don't know. Talk to the children. This is Debbie, I'm assuming. Talk to the children about being able to talk to God anytime if they are worried, even in the middle of the night. And we had a great conversation. That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. Yeah. Oh, just that is such a privilege you have there. Such a privilege. And Mel Staley says that he's studying the book that Isaac recommended and learning a lot. And he added a wow into that. So that's pretty cool.
Good. Although, which book, Mel?
It's a book that Isaac has recommended to him.
I want to know which one.
Right, you want wow moments too?
Yeah, absolutely.
You have a lot of books on the go at the
moment. I know I do have a lot of books on the go at the moment, which I've got a bit of a book backlog.
He's been buying books. And the baby is kicking away. That's awesome. June is asking if we'll be able to meet next week or will it be too many? So I'll have a chat with you tomorrow, June, because I'm popping over anyway. If you've remembered that, I'm popping to see you tomorrow. But I think we won't be having a pop-up pastors.
We won't be having a general pop-up pastors where we get all those
where we
people.
Just say anyone can come along or anything like that.
Because that would be more than 6.
Because Iris is quite correct. We could have 6 at one table and 6 at another table.
But you can't mingle the tables.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's kind of letter of the law, and whether are we sticking to the letter of the law, the meaning of the law, and all of that. And in the end, people will want to bring down a church. They do. That's the truth. And I'm saying this publicly. This is public, so it's probably the wrong thing to say out here as well. I don't know, but the fact is that that there are people out there with bad intent, so we don't give them any fuel to take us down, no matter what. And that's why we have to be sticking to the rules where we can. Trying to fit it in with the Bible in a year and writing the scripture out. So yes, so you're quite busy reading and writing then, Mel. That's awesome. Hello, Howard and Sue. Bless you. Glad you could join us this evening. Oh, beautiful. Oh, the children wondered why God wasn't asleep in the middle of the night. Oh, that's awesome. He doesn't sleep.
Doesn't get tired. No, that's quite
No,
good, isn't
that's
it?
right. He's watching over them, and they are safe, and that is awesome. Oh, so that's awesome. So thank you for sharing your God moments today with us. And I was leading somewhere for a nice change. I wasn't just looking for an opener, because actually, I wanted to talk to us about noticing the small stuff, about noticing how God moves in mysterious ways. Now, that's apparently a line from an old hymn, God Moves in Mysterious Ways. I don't know the hymn itself, but some of you might. And today, God reminded me that he has a sense of humour as well, which I'll be sharing with you. So, there you go. It's The Case for Christ. You've probably read
I
that,
read
have
that.
you?
It's a great book.
That's all right. You don't have to add
Yes.
another book.
Don't need to add to my backlog. Yes.
Phew.
Very good.
Yeah, it's a really good book if anyone wants to get that. So, noticing the small stuff and realizing that God moves in mysterious ways. Well, as I say, that's from a hymn. But there is a scripture in the Bible that kind of says that. So I thought we'd start with that today. Romans 11, verse 33 to 36. It says, "Oh, the depth of the riches and wisdom and knowledge of God! How unsearchable are his judgments and how inscrutable his ways! For who has known the mind of the Lord, or who has been his counselor, or who has given a gift to him that he might be repaid? For from him and through him and to him are all things. To him be glory forever. Amen." So that's Romans 11, verses 33 to 36. And in the Amplified, it puts it even more clearly, I feel, as a God moves in mysterious ways when it says in verse 33, "Oh, the depth of the riches and wisdom and knowledge of God! How unfathomable, inscrutable, unsearchable are his judgments," that's his decisions, "and how untraceable, mysterious, undiscoverable are his ways," or his methods and his paths. So that's kind of my inspiration for this evening. That's where we're starting this evening. Oh, Dan knows the hymn. That's great. Oh, it's beautiful. I'll have to look it up and listen to it. Oh, is it? And Howard seems to be singing, "Oh, the deep, deep love of Jesus," I think. So you feel free to put these up on the screen. I can't do everything. Okay. Mm-hmm. So awesome. So God moves in mysterious ways. And I think the Bible does back that up, even though that's actually a line from a song. So I want to tell you a little story that happened to me today. So many of you might know I really dislike change. I really don't like things to change. So, you know, when your telephone tells you it needs an update, or your computer needs an update. Actually, I think my computer currently needs an update. There have been times, in fact, I got into trouble once because I ignored the update for so long that I think the first update passed and the next update came along and I hadn't updated, and I think I crashed it all or something, and Mark had a bit of a go at me for not updating. But the reason I don't update is because sometimes when you update your technology, it all changes and you can't find stuff. And I don't know, recently I think Facebook changed. Some people have said Facebook's changed. I haven't noticed, so maybe I haven't updated.
Your one hasn't changed yet.
Mine hasn't. Oh, really? Okay. So, you know, I don't like change, so I put it off. I try not to have change. But recently I had to have a little change. I had to get a new car because we lease our cars, which is a way that we find we can financially manage. Having a decent car for both our jobs require us to drive around quite a lot. So we lease our cars. So my lease was up. And the best thing to do was just to change. And in fact, our monthly payments have gone down, haven't they? So I've got a new car. I've got a new car. I've got a Fiat 500.
The same as the old car.
Which is exactly the same car as the old car. But I've got a new one. And it is a different colour, which I'm fine with. I don't mind the colour change at all.
What colour is it?
Salmon. Or...
It's red.
Coral.
It's red.
It's not red. Definitely not red.
I had the debate with Eva this evening as I was putting her to bed. And I said, Auntie Lid's got a new car. And she said, yeah, it's red. I said, no, it's pink. She said, no, it's definitely red. I said, Auntie Lyd will get upset if you tell her it's red.
It's not red because it sits next to Mark's red car, and it's definitely not red. And some people call it pink, and it's definitely not pink.
No, maybe coral.
But it's a different colour car, and that's all that's different about it on the outside. And a lot of it on the inside is exactly the same. So I have to admit, it's been a very easy change for me, except we didn't pay the extra for the GPS to be part of the screen on the inside of the car, to be built in, because it has a really good screen, apparently, that will plug into my iPhone, and I will be able to use the iPhone in my GPS to get me where I need to go.
So Apple CarPlay, it's all you need.
Yes. So apparently, good, thank you. Debbie agrees with me. It's Coral, definitely, or it might be Ian, but somebody agrees with me in that household. Oh, Howard, his Facebook is a black screen. Oh, I think everyone else can see us.
No, that's not what he's meant. You're getting easily distracted. Move on.
Okay.
And anyway, Beth says my car's not red, it's burgundy.
It's gonna color. We're not going to argue about colours all evening.
Yeah, why do you focus on the God bit?
Okay, so GPS.
Okay.
So I have now a car that doesn't have GPS built in, but I have the technology apparently to put GPS into it. That's all great. When I get a new car, any gadget really, Mark says, "Oh, I'll figure it all out and I'll tell you," because
I'm the gadget man.
I'm so excited by new gadgets and new cars and things. I'll learn it and I'll tell you because I know you don't care. So I don't read the instructions. I wait for Mark to teach me. Mark hadn't taught me how to use the GPS with my phone in the car. And so I've been driving around in the car fine because I've known where I'm going. But I haven't had a chance until today to have a go at using my GPS from my phone to the car. Now, this would have been fine, except that Mark was out teaching a course. So I got to the car and I went, oh no. Now I'm supposed to plug in with a wire. There's no wire in the car. I'm looking for the wire. There's no wire. There's no wire. I don't know what the wire is. I am that simple. Those of you who know are going to think this is completely crazy. The woman needs...
I took the wire, didn't I?
You took the wire from the car. The wire wasn't there. So I had the map on my phone, but I couldn't get it to come through the car. I couldn't plug it in. And this was, I had to go. Time's up. I've got to go. So I decided I would start driving and have to use my phone on its own because I couldn't get it to come through the screen. So I'd just have to use the phone. But as I started driving, I realised there was no sound coming out of the phone. So I'm driving and I'm trying to turn up the volume as I'm trying to drive. And no, and I'm turning down the radio, which, by the way, was tuned into country radio station because Mark drove my car last time. So he just left that tuned in, and that was a whole different matter. But I was like, I don't mind country music, but it wasn't my choice. And so the country music got turned down, right down. No, still can't hear the phone. Don't know what I'm doing. It's not speaking to me, but I can see the map, but it's too far away on the passenger seat. I can't see it properly. And we're getting to the place where I don't know. I know I've got to turn off, but I don't know where I've got to turn off. So I turned the music back up because there was no point in having it down, and picked up the phone. So now I'm driving and I'm holding the phone. I know that's not allowed, but only for a moment. Looked at it, laid it on my leg so that I could glance down at it. Thought that's a bit dodgy. It could fall off. Tried to put it on the thing in front. No, I can't see it now. It's got to come back on my leg. So it was on my leg. And that was not a fun journey. But that is how I got there, because I did actually get to my client for dog training in Minotee, in Upper Minotee, and I found the way eventually. Now, luckily, I had looked at a map beforehand, so I had a vague idea of where I was going and was able to get there. Now, that was a long way of telling that story. Oh, dear. But here's the thing. I got there safely, and then it was time to come home. I did my dog training. That all went fine. Got in the car to come home. So now I've got to program my phone for coming home. No internet signal. What do you do when there's no internet signal?
What's going on?
No internet signal. None. No internet signal. So my phone just refused to show me the way home at all. So now for those of you who don't know, I was in Upper Minotee. The roads from Malmesbury to Upper Minotee, the normal road that takes you into Upper Minotee, is completely closed, or that's what my client told me anyway. So she had told me to go via Oaksey to Upper Minotee. So that is what I'd tried to do on the way there. But using my sat nav, I didn't realise which village Oaksey was. If I had, I could have gone a different way because I actually do know that. But I didn't realise where Oaksey was. I've been here 10 years and I don't know everything as well as I should. But anyway, when I got to Oaksey the first time, I went, oh, I know Oaksey. Okay, I'll come back the other way. So I'd already made a mental note of that. But I had to get from Upper Minety to Oaksey, and I had to just make sure I did that right. Now, those of you who know, that actually turns out to be quite simple, but I didn't know that for sure. So as I set off, thinking, well, I turned right in here, so I'll turn left out here. As I started driving home, I just, basically, I said aloud to myself and to God, I went, I hope I find my way. That's literally what I said. I hope I find my way. And I had the country music radio on because there was no point in having it turned down now, was there? And as I was driving the winding road, I thought, shame I've got the country music radio tuned in. I could really do with Premier Praise right now. That would be much more appropriate because it would boost me spiritually. I'd feel like, I had more confidence because I don't have a lot of confidence driving either. You need to know that as well. So I'm driving the winding road between Upper Minety and Oaksey. And if any of you know it, you'll know it's actually quite a straight road, although it's quite narrow and you don't want to meet too many tractors, which I did. I suddenly realised what was playing on the country music radio.
What?
Take Me Home, Country Road. And she wrote it as well. Kayla got it. And I just burst out laughing. And then I turned it up really loud and I sang along with it in faith. Take me home, country road, to the place where I belong. In faith, I sang along with the song. And you know what? God has spoken to me in this way in the past. He has used things like the TV to talk to me, some news article, random things that he has allowed for my mind to kind of connect with him. And I saw that song as him saying, I'm with you and this road will take you home. And I was on the right road and it was really straightforward. But the thing is, it really was just a moment from God for me. And the reason I wanted to share this with you is because for me, it was huge. This silly song on the radio was huge for me because it was a God moment. God stepped into the car and he said, I'm taking you home via this country road. You will be in the place where you belong. And so I wanted to share with you tonight because I wanted to say that he is involved in the small, insignificant things. It means us that even the hairs of your head are all numbered. Now, I think if Jesus tells us that, it's because he wants you to know how the insignificant is so important. Even your hairs are numbered, Mark. Even your hairs.
Both of them.
So it's a really simple message this evening, but I just think we brought this message right at the beginning of the pandemic. And that was 6 months ago. 6 months, guys. And so I think it needs saying again. Do not fear. Because actually, when Jesus reminds us that the hairs of our head are numbered, it's in the process of telling us not to fear. It's Luke 12, if you want to go and look at it. And it's so easy for all of us to fall into anxious thoughts at the moment. And everywhere you turn, everyone's talking about coronavirus, COVID-19, masks, not to wear masks, social distancing. The government's changing it all again. How many people can meet, where they can meet. It's not really changed, actually, but they're putting it into law. And so I want us all now to start going back to Psalm 91. It's where we started at the beginning of pandemic, and I think we need to get back there because it's still and always relevant. So I'll just read to you Psalm 91, just 1 and 2, verses 1 and 2. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. I heard today that dwells means sits. So he who sits in the shelter of the Most High. And Psalm 23 tells us that he makes us lie down. These are both positions of being relaxed. And so I want us to try and remember that we can assume a relaxed position in God's presence, that actually the world's worries do not need to affect us to the point where we can't be relaxed and at peace. And I may be preaching more on peace on Sunday, though I really can't say for sure. But, you know, I could have missed the blessing that God gave me today if I had been overstressed and overthinking. I may have, I don't know if you're like me, but you get to a certain age as a middle-aged woman and you turn the radio down to think better.
Or to help you reverse, clearly.
Yeah.
Have you do that? I do that.
No,
Turn the radio down, I can't reverse.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean, because you're thinking. Yeah. So I do turn the radio down to think. So I could have turned the radio down and not heard. Or I could have switched to Premier Praise. Or I could have got all, and maybe I'd have got as much a blessing there anyway. But the point is, I could have got stressed and overthought everything and not even been listening to the radio. Because bear in mind, I suddenly tuned into it in my head when it was already playing. So I could have missed God's blessing. So I want you to start to notice again and to encourage each other with what you notice around you. And that's why we started this evening by me asking, what's God been doing? What have you noticed? And has he made you laugh? Because he really made me laugh today when he played that song for me. And I know he played that song for me. That radio person, DJ, had no chance of picking that. He didn't know he was picking it for me. So does anyone have anything else they want to add? Has anyone been adding anything? Or I love the fact that Chris has been in here and she's laughing at me.
Yeah, so Kristen Valley's been in, Rebecca Madrick's been in as well. So it's good to see some old friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh dear.
Although apparently Rebecca wants to see photos of the two cars so she can determine and be the ultimate adjudicator what the colours really are.
I bet Rebecca will come out on my side.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Look,
she's very sensible.
Debbie is. So, okay, well, let's close this then. On Tuesdays, Ladies Who Lead, which is something we do, a broadcast we do on this part of Facebook. On this channel. At 10 o'clock in the morning. We were looking at John 14. And I just want to, because a lot of you may not have heard it or seen it, I'm just going to read a little bit of John 14 to you. In fact, let's get Mark to read it because you've been listening to me too long. And then I'll just make the point that I wanted to make from it. John 14, 6 to 11.
Okay, John 14, 6 to 11. Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you had known me, you would have known my Father also. From now on, you do know him and have seen him. Well, Philip said to him, Lord, show us the Father, and it is enough for us. And Jesus said to him, have I been with you so long, and you still don't know me, Philip? Whoever has seen me has seen the Father. So how can you say, show us the Father? Do you not believe that I am in the Father and the Father is in me? The words that I say to you, I do not speak on my own authority, but the Father who dwells in me does his works. Believe me that I am in the Father and the Father is in me, or else believe on account of the works themselves. Okay, so the reason I wanted to read all of that because I think there's a big section of scripture that's actually really great to hear again and again. But the reason I wanted to read that is because when we were talking about it in the Ladies Who Lead, Sue made the point, I think it was Sue, or she'd written it in the notes before for us to plan from, that, you know, Philip was looking for more. You know, he wasn't expecting the Father to look like Jesus, right? I imagine, I don't know what Philip was looking for, but possibly he was looking for lightning and shining face coming out of the clouds. You know, how we maybe imagine Father God, and when we see him in art, he's like the sunshine bright through the clouds and stuff, with maybe a little bit of a face or maybe no face, you know. And so when he says, show me the Father, I think he thinks, you know, show me the Father. And Jesus says, but you've seen the Father. If you've seen me, you've seen the Father. And Jesus would have been so ordinary looking. And so Philip is missing it because Philip is looking for more. And yet God is right there in front of him in the ordinary. And I don't want us to miss God in the ordinary. Now, when we were sharing this the other day, June mentioned how the felt had come off her shed roof and God had sent some men to come and help her with it. Now, I don't know the full story. I only know what she typed then. But I'm telling you, that is how we see God in the ordinary. That is exactly how we see God in the ordinary. In the moment that we need to change a light bulb and we can't reach and somebody comes along who can help us. In the moment that you know, God steps in, and we don't necessarily have to have cried out because he sees us already. Now, I think we should cry out, but to be honest, I've said before, I never say good night to God or goodbye.
I feel like the conversation's constantly going. So when I said aloud, I hope I make my way home. I hope I find my way home. It wasn't, dear Lord, please help me get home. It wasn't as a prayer. It was just and I did say it aloud in the car, so, I expect him to be with me all the time and to be hearing me all the time. So, it's about realizing that God does step in, and the extraordinary, the works that he does is sometimes very ordinary. And so don't miss it. Please don't miss it. So please, this week, take time to notice God in the ordinary.
Excellent. It's very good. Well, that's kind of got us to our time.
It's been a lot of Lydia, I'm sorry.
Be lovely.
I haven't got very good at telling my stories yet, not like Mark. He knows how to tell a story succinctly, and I can do that if I have my notes behind the camera. But if I have to keep looking at my notes and I want to look at you, then, it's not so succinct. But you got the story, and I
Very
think
good
you enjoyed
story.
it.
Very good. Well, lovely to see you, Church. Don't forget, at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, we've got the Shalom Show, and then we'll be back with Hope Church Online on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. Until then, bye for now.
Bless you. Bye.